Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here today with Kurt Leavins. Welcome, Kurt.
Hey, Dave. We waited 25 games for the real Oilers to show up. It appears they've showed.
I've been doubting them. I was doubting them yesterday. I was on Oilers Now with Bryn Griffiths, and Bryn was saying they should just stay the course, not make any. And I was saying I don't know, Bryn. This team it's still it's still down there. It's got to string some wins together.
And but they're doing that, right? They've been good in 5 of their last 6 games.
Yes, they have. That's true. So I'm still in Missouri. I'm not believing it until I see them get it going on, like a win streak. I want to see 4 or 5 games here. But nonetheless, this was a dominating, absolutely second dominating performance in a row. There's no denying that. And just really good. That's a super good signal to see them playing so well.
Yeah, for sure.
And just quickly, I remember 2 or 3 weeks ago, I heard Knobloch talking about the team with the problem with the team. And he was, I think he said, if I'm not mistaken, that it was about puck possession. And I just think it was just everything about puck possession. And the Oilers are essentially a puck possession team. That's how they win.
Yes.
And he was right that it was dead off. And the last 2 games, it's been bang on. They have been really moving the puck around, like the Edmonton Oilers can. Yeah. Which is a team that dominates the grade A shot count. And these last 2 games were actually the first 2 games, Kurt, in this string, although they played better defensively. These last 2 games were the first 2 games where they dominated the grade A shot count. And tonight it was 17-9 for the Oilers over the Jets, with the subset of 5 alarm shots going about 33% of the time, 9-2 for the Oilers.
Yeah. So it wasn't close. When you analyze these sorts of things and you look at how these teams break down and you talk about puck possession, you're right. The Oilers are a puck possession team, but I didn't think that their issue was possession in the attacking zone for most of the year. I thought the issue was puck possession in the neutral and defensive zone. That's where it's turned around. A lot of people, when they say puck possession, they think in the attacking zone, and that's fair. But I think a lot of the turnovers and a lot of the defensive issues we were seeing this year were because of poor possession, poor puck management, which is a possession issue. So yeah, I totally buy that.
And I think when Knobloch talked about it, he meant every zone.
Yeah.
And that's right. When I think of puck possession, because it's been used so much by people in the analytics community, puck possession to be kind of a proxy for offensive zone time. And which is a proxy then for which is really a proxy for grade A shots, offensive zone time. That's what they're hoping to get at, was grade A shots by looking at offensive zone time.
But possession is also a defensive indicator.
But possession is all over the ice, and tonight it was pretty good until very late in the game.
We'll talk about that.
We'll get to that. All right, Kurt, 2 good things, 2 bad things, and 2 numbers. What is your first good thing?
Well, you know what? It would have been easy to pick one of the Oilers' stars. Both Draisaitl and McDavid had multiple point nights, and there was a number of other positive things around the ice. But I really want to center in on Alec Regula, who I thought played his best game as a pro tonight. He and Darnell Nurse were terrific, that second pairing. Regula, his skills have always been tantalizing, right? Because he's a big guy, he's a solid guy, big wingspan. Looks to move the puck well, moves better than average for a guy his size, all sorts of things going for him. But we sometimes forget that it's a tough league, and it's tough to get a foothold in the NHL. Plus, he's coming off a lost season due to injury, which particularly when you're a younger player is a major setback, and some players never recover from it. But Regula tonight, I would say, has come all the way back with that performance tonight. Not only did he move the puck particularly well, he defended particularly well. he played more physical than we've seen him. A guy that size, you want him to. He doesn't need to be a big basher, but you need to use that size effectively. I thought he was tonight. And for the last few games and again tonight, he was kind of in the middle of it when it came to the argy-bargy in between the whistles as well. And you know what? He might be one of those guys who plays better when his fingers are a bit dirty too. All that is the eye test on Alec Regula tonight, and it was all positive. But on the score sheet, when you look at it, he played 21-33. That is a season high for him. 3 shot blocks, also a season high for him. Had a shot on net. If you look at his 5-on-5 statistics from Natural Stat Trick, 5-on-5, high danger scoring chances, 8-4, 4 against, and I'll end my point with this. For the first time this season, Alec Regula was on the ice when a 5-on-5 goal was scored by the Edmonton Oilers.
Which goal was that?
Seems impossible, right? He was plus
was that the
1.
sixth goal?
Yeah, he was +1 on the night. So
I think it must be the 6th goal.
When you get this deep into a season, it seems impossible, but it's absolutely true.
He's starting to make a number of, I think he made, give me just 1 second here and I will tell you, that he and Nurse both made 5 major contributions to grade A shots tonight. And there was one sequence that he kicked off from his own zone. The puck came behind the net and he took it and he faked to his forehand. And the Jet player shaded over, and then he whipped really hard a backhand up the ice, up along the boards.
Yeah.
And that started a sequence where the Oilers had 4 grade A shots in 14 seconds. McDavid, Hyman, and Nuge went to work. But it all started because a defenseman, Alec Regula, made that nice pass. And earlier, I had said he reminds me of Randy Gregg, who was at 6'5", 220, and a very cerebral player for a big guy. Yep. And that's how I see Regula. He is a very smart hockey player, good with the puck. But I agree that what will make or break him as a player, well, what makes or breaks him is his puck moving and his smartness, just his intelligence. But if he can't handle the physical side, he can't make it either. Like that could break him. And he's starting to show some pushback here and coming at the other team, coming at him hard. And I like that a lot.
Well, you know, Jake Wallman at some point is going to come back from injury again. And at this point, the Oilers have a very nice problem to deal with. They're going to have to sit either Ty Emberson or Alec Regula. And like Emberson was +3 tonight. You know, those two right side D-men have come on as of late, and you know the loss of Jake Wallman could have been a real sting for this team. And hey, anytime you're missing a good player like Wallman, it isn't good. But both Emberson and Regula have stepped up their games at just the right time.
It'll be hard to choose between the two of Regula and Emberson.
Emberson.
Yep. Interestingly, like a lot of players have struggled with Nurse. And it was funny because this week Troy Stetcher's like the toast of Toronto right now.
Yeah, God bless him.
Hey. First during minutes, and everything you hear is just it is so Troy Stetcher getting back fast, making passes out fast. Like he was the Nurse whisperer last year. Darnell Nurse had his best year as a pro, and I think in retrospect he played about half the time with Stetcher. I think that had a big impact on it. I think they were a great combination together. So we all know that a lot of players have struggled with Nurse in recent years, struggled to get it done, as Nurse has at times as well. So I've been wondering, can Regula get it done? You know, is he gonna? How's it gonna go? Because it's not an easy task, you know. But tonight they brought out the last 2 games, Kurt. They brought out the best in each other. They're playing really well together, and I think that Regula may be an excellent partner for Nurse. He is a very steady, sound positional player who's good with the puck. Jason Strudwick always said he thought that Nurse needed to play with a good puck mover, and I think Strudwick was correct about that. And we're seeing it with Regula. I also do think that Nurse is settling down his game here and just focusing on positional play, which when he does, he's a really good hockey player. He can be a
Yeah.
really good hockey player. So keep doing that, Darnell Nurse. You're getting it
Can I
done.
can I
Go ahead.
toss in one more comment? As much as I admire the way Troy Stetcher plays the game, if he's the Leafs' best defenseman right now, that says something in particular about the Leafs.
And that's we know, like we've all seen, we know his limitations, Troy Stetcher's, and we know what he's good at.
Yeah.
So he's a sixth defenseman. So if he's on the Oilers, and so if he's your top D man, well,
Well, he couldn't play here, right?
I don't know. Like Emberson has really been playing well too.
Yes.
So that's a very difficult decision but it gives, what it does is and Wallman will want to rush to get back, of course, because he's a hockey player, competitive hockey player, but he came back still injured, evidently, last time, still banged up, because we heard it fairly early on in the discourse about Wallman as he was coming back. Well, he's still a little bit hurt. Hey, don't do that this time. There's no need, right? You've got, right now, you've got six defensemen playing well, which may be incentive for Jake Wallman then to want to try to come back. And no one wants to lose their job. He's not losing his job. He just signed a big contract for how 5
He'll
years.
play.
He'll play. So was it 5 years? I can't remember. But don't rush back. There's no need to rush back at all, as long as these guys are playing well and nobody's hurt.
And the competition just makes your whole team better.
Yeah. Kurt, my good thing tonight is going to the net. And it's one of those basic things, which is part of puck movement. When you go to the net, you open space for other players. Gives time and space to players. And we saw it on the first 4 goals to some extent or another. The first goal was Kulak in the neutral zone making a great cross-seam pass to Hyman, who made a great reception of the pass. And then and Jack Michaels remarked on this, a really gutsy play, taking the puck in and getting hammered against the boards, but making a pass over to McDavid. McDavid proceeds to cut into the slot and get off a hard shot. And the rebound goes to Nuge, who has done what Nuge does now. Nuge is he's not getting older, he's getting better. What was that ad for, Kurt? Do you remember? It was a woman's hair product ad, I think. Maybe. You're not getting older. You're
Revlon
getting
or something?
Yeah. Okay. He's the Revlon man. Ryan.
I'm sure that's what he was shooting for.
Revlon Nugent Hopkins. He went to the net. And it's not something he always did, honestly, earlier on in his career. Fair. And all Hall, Eberle, and Nuge, they were such fantastic attackers, but they all had little holes in their games here and there. And I think Nuge has done the best of them to correct those holes in their game. Although I have to admit, I don't watch Hall and Eberle all the time. But Nuge has become such a complete hockey player. I think people compared him to Pavel Datsyuk early on, like they were hoping he would become that kind of player. And he really didn't for a long time. Like he just wasn't as strong defensively as Datsyuk. He wasn't a 200-foot player like Datsyuk was. And he's not that now. Datsyuk's a Hall of Fame player. And as much as I love Nugent Hopkins' game right now in his career as an Oiler, I don't think he's a Hall of Fame player. But man, he is playing great hockey. He's playing outstanding two-way hockey. He went hard to the net there. And he did it again in the second period, and he almost scored. Like there was twice when he did it. So fantastic.
I just want to point out, you're talking about going to the net. This is just related on the 4-0 goal. Nugent Hopkins keep at the blue line, and then an errant pass back from Evan Bouchard that he just calmly knocked down and then moved back in the center, and they ended up scoring the 4-0. Those two subtle plays, that's when he's in the lineup, you just get that steadiness, right? Two pucks that could have gone in really bad directions, and then you end up scoring instead. That can be the difference in games.
He's not getting older. He's getting better. All right. The second goal is a go to the net goal, but it's a breakaway. So it's a little bit different. I mean, everybody goes to the net when there's a breakaway, but it was a hell of a play. Just an unreal pass by Evan Bouchard. And he got burnt later in the game in garbage time on one, but that was just a beautiful pass right up the middle of the ice, and Draisaitl goes flying in there. The next goal is also just fantastic. Matt Savoy's figuring it out. He goes to the net so there's another stretch pass up the ice. Draisaitl breaks in. Podkolzin, I think, puts it over to Ekholm, who slams it on net, and the rebound is there. And Matt Savoy is there. He is there. Be there in front of the net. Go to the net when you have that chance, and he just put it in. And now what, he's got 6 goals. He's doubled his goal scoring in 2 games, Kurt, and he's solidified. Now people think, oh, we have a line here, right? Before it was Roslovic, Draisaitl, and Podkolzin. Well, now it's Matt Savoy. He's taken a claim. Savoy, Draisaitl, and Podkolzin. So we'll see if he can keep that.
As you're aware, I liked Ryan McLeod as a player, but he had some faults, like most players do.
Didn't go to the net.
He did not go to the net. You could not convince him, with all the skill that he had and all the speed that he had, to be able to find seams and go to the net. He just plain didn't. And so while, look, Ryan McLeod made your team better, but if you exchange him for Matt Savoy and you get this kind of player who kills penalties very effectively, but will drive to the net like a much bigger player than he actually is, I'll take that. Thanks.
The mini Hyman, Matt Savoy. The 4th goal as well, Bouchard's goal. Hyman's at the net, causing all kinds of trouble. But
surprise.
not so much that the goal's called back. He was perfect. He was right in the middle of things, blocking the goalie's view, in everybody's way, upsetting everybody. He's right in the way, but he's right on the edge of the crease, and he's there first. It's his space on the edge of the crease.
The goalie actually goes into him, right?
Yeah, the goalie moves into him and might have helped cause the goal. It did help cause the goal.
Yeah.
So again, Hyman's always at the net. This is why he's such a great hockey player. Did they miss Zach Hyman?
Oh,
you forget, eh?
Yeah.
What a great player! What a great hockey player! And he's making some nice passes. It looks like he's close to being fully back, Kurt.
Coming, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah. I hate to be like, knock on wood kind of thing, but man, he's looking good. So that's fantastic. Kurt, what is your bad thing?
There really wasn't much bad tonight. Let's call a spade a spade. The Oilers outclassed the Jets, and the score flattered Winnipeg substantially. I will pick out the 5-1 goal because, for the first half of the year, half of town wanted Evan Bouchard traded, and the other half wanted him sent to Bakersfield. And look, who could blame them on one hand, because there was more turnovers than a bakery. And so tonight on that 5-1 goal, not only was there an Evan Bouchard turnover, but then he got roasted on the return charge up the ice by Winnipeg. So you certainly give Evan primarily at fault for that goal. But what I want to point out is we haven't seen that much in the last 10 or 12 games. He has really cleaned up his act. That's going to happen once in a while. It's a player like Bouchard that plays as much as he does. And if you look at Bouchard tonight, even on a laugher night tonight, he still played 21 minutes. And he's one of the top possession players on the team. When you play a lot and you have the puck a lot, you're going to have giveaways. So that was one tonight. But if you're only going to give up one here and there, according to me at least, it's not a federal offense.
Yeah, my bad time is related to that, Kurt. It's garbage time. The Oilers... Bouchard he stopped trying. He coughs it up, and then he gets whipped on the deke coming in on the goal. The slogan "You're not getting older, you're getting better" comes from Clairol. For its loving care hair color product line, Clairol.
There you go.
Okay. Just checked AI for that one. But there was lots of terrible plays in garbage time. I mean, the Jets had 9 grade A shots, and let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. 6 of their 9 came in garbage time, which is most like the third period. So Nurse and Regula, as well as they played, Nurse let a pass across and Regula let the guy right in there, Nemesnikov, in for like a 5-alarm screamer, which in that moment would have made it 5-2 with 15 minutes left if they had scored, which wasn't that scary, but scary enough. But anyway, Skinner made the big save there. There was another grade A just a short time after that. Then there was what was the last goal that they scored? Oh, that stupid wraparound play. So
and there was a bit of bad luck in that one.
Well, there was, because there's like the puck goes high into the air. There's kind of a jump puck where Bouchard and a Jets player are jumping high in the air to knock the puck. And I think it might have actually hit Bouchard's glove. And then Bouchard comes down and the Jets player trips him. Yep. And Skinner's over there wondering where this puck's going, and then it bounces and the guy quickly wraps it around before anyone can react.
Because McDavid batted at it right, but it didn't go the direction he wanted it to go in.
Oh, was it? Yeah, I didn't even see. Like he was
in there. It was just a scramble play.
It was a weird scramble play with a deflection, right? With it, so I'm not inclined to get mad at anyone really too much on that play.
Yeah,
but it was, and fortunately it wasn't fortuitous. The only good thing that happened in garbage time was Tomasek sure scored a hell of a goal there.
He did. I mean, you can see why he led the Swedish League, Elite League. Hey,
wow.
Yeah.
If only he showed more of that. Frederick and Lazar did a really good job forechecking on that play, and Frederick made a nice pass to set up Tomasek. And did he ever go to the net and smoke that one in? So, but overall, yeah, the garbage time was like, can this game not end? Was my constant thought in the third period.
Yeah, I don't know about you. When I'm doing Cult of Hockey player grades, I do weight the events of the game by when and at what context within the game they happen.
So do I.
Yeah, because you know what? In garbage time, like we're describing tonight, both teams are trying to get out of there and not get hurt. Both teams are more or less rolling four lines. But quite frankly, the ice time that's being given to the third and fourth lines by both teams is probably double what it would be otherwise. So not only are you trying not to get hurt, you're also, playing against inferior competition, and it really sways and swings the numbers in that time. And it's, from what I've seen, there's no site out there who weights that properly in terms of game situation. They certainly do in terms of quality of competition, but in game situation, it's like, I don't even know whether to write that stuff down sometimes. In fact, I make fewer notes when it's a 6-1 game because it's not consequential, right? So I think to your point.
Yeah. Like if a player's like after the second period, I had done the grades.
I'm sure he did. Like, I said that to my wife. I said, "Bet you Dave's already done."
if someone's between, like, let's say a 6.5 and a 7, and let's say there's they make a great play on a goal in the third period in garbage time, then I might bump them up to a 7 because they already had them at a 6.5, but I put them at a 6 originally because they weren't quite good enough to get to a 7, let's say. Yep. So I'll give it kind of like a major contribution, a major play in that scenario might bump you up like 0.5 of a grade, but usually, if you're in on a goal, if you're a key player on the goal, I give you full credit, the full grade point on our 10-point system, generally speaking. All right, Kurt, speaking of numbers, what is your number?
3 and 4. The Edmonton Oilers scored 3 goals for 4 consecutive periods. 3 in each of the 3 periods the previous night, and 3, of course, they eventually got 4. But 3 in the first period of tonight's game as well. 4 consecutive periods in which they scored 3 goals.
Nice. Very nice. It's nice to have a couple wins like this. Just
just the offensive confidence that it will breed, right? To me is, look out. It's Buffalo Tuesday, right? And the Sabres are on the second of back-to-backs.
Yeah, good.
That should be a meat grinder.
And they lost, didn't they lose to Buffalo the last time they played Buffalo? Like they've got a...
They did.
They might have a bit of a chip on their shoulder too.
They should have an axe to grind, yeah. If we can
These
bring
are
out all those
must-win
old Hackney
games.
phrases, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. These are games like, of course, Winnipeg's second to back-to-backs tonight. Okay, well you gotta win it, right?
Yeah.
You
Beat 'em.
you
Beat those
you
guys.
yeah, you can't even give away a point in those games. Like a tie is not good enough either. Um, and some people say, well, yeah, sure, the Oilers beat up on Winnipeg tonight, but the Jets, road trip, blah blah blah. Well, where were those people cutting the Oilers slack when they were in the middle of that rough road trip? Yeah. No one was showing them sympathy, so I don't show the Jets any sympathy now. That's just the way the cookie crumbles.
My numbers are, I was just checking this game, like in terms of how dominant the Oilers were in terms of grade A shots.
Hmm.
And I'll suggest this was the second um, most dominant game of the year for the Oilers. The game that they beat the Canucks in game 2 of this season, they had 21 grade A shots and the Canucks had 10, and the Oilers had 7 and 1 for 5 alarm shots. This was 17-9 for the Oilers and 9 and 2 for 5 alarm shots. There's been other games where they've had between 7 and 9 advantage on the grade A shots, but not such a big differential in the 5 alarm shots. These two games, the Oilers just smoked the opposition. They really, really dominated the other team, and they weren't able to build on the win over the Canucks. They kind of started to fall apart. They were a fairly good team for a while there, but that as the road swings went on, they just got worse and worse. They're battling out of that now. So against the Kraken last game, it was 22-13 for grade A shots. This was even better. This was more dominant because the five alarm shots are 9-2. They just had it all over the Jets. Fantastic to see, and it gives hope. This is the heart of the McDavid-Draisaitl era. These guys are still in their prime. It's time to win a Stanley Cup, and this is a year they can do it. Like a lot of people have been saying, I'm writing off this year. I don't think they're going to do it this year, and I get it, right? Like I'm looking at the trends in grade A shots and 5 alarm shots. They're not. They haven't been that healthy. They've been unhealthy, and they've been indicative of a team that's going nowhere fast. Where again, where in other years when they've been down and had crappy starts, their grade A shot totals are really good. They indicated a good team. That hasn't been the case this year. It's starting to be the case now. Not a moment too late. And I think this team, there's some hope. The one difference with this team, maybe, Kurt, is so many new players. Lots of new players. And maybe it's taking them a while to figure it out.
Well, it does, right?
It does. And the good news is maybe they're doing it. Maybe it's happening. Wouldn't that be good?
Yes, it would.
What do you say? Is it happening?
Well, as you probably know, because we've talked about this, I have never once doubted them. Was I frustrated over the first 25 games? Hell, yes. Who wasn't? But I always believed that this was a playoff team and a Stanley Cup contender. I just didn't think they were playing well enough, and that was abundantly obvious, right? And you're seeing it now. And I think too many people discount how hard it is to go to the Stanley Cup final and lose in back-to-back seasons, and then look fresh as a daisy in September again. I really think that's hard mentally as well as physically. And I think we're seeing this team come out of that now. They're not a finished product. We're going to see some other tweaks to the roster and a couple more injuries will come back. This is pretty close to the team I thought that they would be.
Yeah. I was confident, but in the last couple of weeks I've started to have some doubts, starting to wonder, like, geez, this is hard. Like, process is important. And if your process is bad, something radical has to happen. So perhaps the radical thing that happened was they finally got scared enough, frustrated enough, angry enough themselves that they decided to stop making so many stupid plays and really focus on bringing their A game. I don't know what it was, but we're starting to see it, and these are strong signals that maybe they can get it together. They still got to string those wins together.
They absolutely do. But you know what? I think I'm close on this, if not 100% right. I think they went 6 weeks without a full practice.
That
Uh,
is true.
Try that in any other line of work, right? Just go away, don't do it for 6 weeks, and come back and ask yourself if you're quite as sharp. Well, you won't be, right? That's why the best in their field practice and hone their craft all the time. But because of the compressed schedule due to the Olympics, the Oilers and a lot of teams are facing this similar situation.
How many games are they playing this year, Kurt? Are they playing 84 this year?
It's
Is it
not
is it 80?
84.
Is it 82 like normal, or are
Yeah.
they bumping it up to 84? I can't.
Um, you got me on that one just at the
Neither of us
moment.
knows.
I'd have to
So
look up.
right now, Kurt, the Oilers are in a wild card spot.
Yes.
Now the teams behind them, both Winnipeg and Chicago, um, they're both Chicago's 1 point behind, Winnipeg's 2 points behind, San Jose is 2 points
Yeah.
behind, but Chicago and Winnipeg have a game in hand.
And both
But the
Winnipeg and
Oilers
Chicago just got their asses kicked tonight, right?
yeah. So the Oilers are in a wild card spot, and with 31 points, they are 2 points back of the LA Kings, who have a game in hand. They're 3 points back of Vegas, who have 2 games in hand. So, yeah.
And a tired Buffalo team coming into town on Tuesday.
As bad as it's been, guaranteed loss night.
Yeah.
As bad as it's been with the Oilers, they're right in, like they're in a playoff spot.
Sure they are.
So there's no, it's not a dire situation because the league is there's so much parity in the league this year. It's so flat, the standings. It's unbelievably flat. So this would have driven Bruce crazy with all the Bettman points.
Wouldn't it have though? Yeah, God love him. It absolutely would have. I agree with that 100%.
Final thoughts, Kurt?
Yeah, you know what? I want to toss a couple of things out there, and I'm going to talk about one thing while I'm looking for the other. The one thing I want to talk about is look at some of the guys that are scoring goals for the Oilers now. Last game, Janmark scored. First goal in 42 games, right? In 42 regular season games. Tonight, you saw goals from Lazar and Tomashek, right? And a really nice play, which you already outlined, and I'm pleased you did, since you've been so hard on Trent Frederick this year. That he pretty much created that goal by himself with the forecheck and then the strip and the pass in front to Tomashek. But when I'll call them your third/fourth line guys, when they start to chip in and you start to get a more balanced attack, that's when you're dangerous. The other thing I want to point out is that Stuart Skinner, don't look now, but that save percentage is climbing, and he certainly didn't have a lot of work tonight, but he's still only allowed 2 goals. And it's been a while since we've said that Stuart Skinner is the problem. Well, maybe he never was. Like the rest of the team, maybe he just had to play better. He certainly is right now.
Shots did win it. I was wondering about his save percentage tonight because there sure wasn't a lot of there wasn't a lot of activity. Let me just see
there
here.
was not. Final score:
21 shots, 2 goals, 21 shots. So
this doesn't seem possible. The Oilers only had 27 shots. Like, man.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, they were.
Wonder what the attempted shots were.
They were careful with the puck. The Oilers, they're shooting when there's a. This is apparently a trend in the NHL. I'm not following this particular trend league wide, but there is a trend to shoot less and to try to get good shots off. The old Soviet style of hockey. 21 shots. So his save percentage will go up a little bit because of tonight's play.
Yep.
Alrighty, Kurt. Any final thoughts or anything else?
No, other than the fact that the people who wanted Chris Knobloch fired are probably feeling foolish right now. That was always dumb. Like, who thought that was a real thing? I'm sorry.
Well, they needed to turn it around, and they did. But I agree that was premature.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah, premature. Alrighty. Yeah, last night, wild rumors circulating through Edmonton about a goalie trade. Didn't happen. So
All based on the fact that one goaltender hugged the other after a game.
I don't know
it's
what it was
it's
based
it's
on.
amazing in our marketing. I mean, God love them. I mean, where would you sooner be a hockey fan than one that's as hockey mad as Edmonton? But you have to admit, from time to time, it does lead to kind of goofy speculation. So
Well, there's lots of people who kind of like who pose as insiders. Like they like to, here's the thing about insiders, like real insiders. They don't get it wrong. They
very
never
damn often.
they they they
Yeah,
they are very careful in what they say
because
because
their
they have excellent
reputation's on the line,
sources,
right?
and they can't upset their sources. They can't say things that are not accurate.
Yep.
Otherwise, they lose their reputation with their sources, with the people who really count. So, there's lots of um, you know, of this insidery stuff. And I just think if you're not a real insider, don't even pretend to be an insider. Just let the insiders do what they do. Give them credit. I often quote them all the time. I'm looking
Yeah.
for what they have to say. I respect their work, and some of them I just have a ton of respect for the amount of work they put in. Get Elliot Friedman and Bob Stauffer, people like that, and Frank Saravalli. Like these guys are just working, working, working 24/7. They're just going, going, going. So just let them do what they do. So people really get super excited though when they think they might know something, and then but they don't understand the process, I think, of what it is to really know stuff and to really be an insider and to carefully release information, having weighed it and checked it and all that stuff. So
Yes, well
I've
said.
stopped putting any weight in. I'm very careful now when I read all this excitement. I just think, no, I don't believe it. Not
People
until I
don't people don't always love to hear this, David, but I'll remind anybody who will listen that if you ever think for a millisecond that journalism is easy, try doing it for a living. Like both you and I have for just about 4 decades. So
Well, yeah, you learn that it's not very much fun to be wrong.
yeah, tell me
Yeah.
about it.
It's no fun. It is no
Uh,
fun to be wrong. And at newspapers, it was more severe in the past to be wrong because like the newspaper was published and there was no fixing it. Like it's out there, right? You can have a correction the next
yeah,
day or something. But now if you have it wrong, you can go change your copy online. Like things wrong online can quickly be corrected. Radio could always kind of quickly correct stuff as well. Like if the broadcast got something wrong, the next time they said it, they could get it right. But still, there was lots of pressure because fundamentally there was pressure because you could get sued if you
yes.
said something wrong and people got, and we could still, anytime we say something wrong, if you're with a bigger publication, you wonder why sometimes people at bigger publications are more cautious. They will get sued. They can get sued. And that wrecks your life.
And look, litigious matters matter, and both you and I have spent a career having to deal and adhere to the law. But there's also the matter of fairness, and
Yeah.
and that's the other thing I think that some of these poser insiders forget sometimes is that one of the reasons real pros like Elliot Friedman don't throw rumors out there is because they know people's lives are affected by them. And fairness matters in journalism. And so you might notice I don't throw a whole bunch of rumors out in my 9 things. It's because these people have kids that go to school and have neighbors and drive to work in our city. And so unless I know something as a matter of fact, I'm not going to print it. It's just not fair to them or to my readers.
I think it's a fundamental thing that drives most journalists is that like the legal thing's there
Yeah.
and it's a big deal. And certainly the editor will make it clear to you if you don't understand that it's a big deal, that it's a big deal.
Yes.
But the fairness thing is fundamental to being a good person and a fair dealer. And
Yep.
fairness and accuracy are what it's all about. So, yeah, I think from what I see of the vast majority of journalists, they still really hold fairness and accuracy
I agree.
as a big thing. All right, Kurt, let's leave it there. Thanks for talking tonight.
Yeah, it's like we've solved the problems of the world. Look, the Oilers win and we fix journalism.
Well, there'll never be any fix in journalism. It's the Wild West of journalism, and it's not going to end.
Yeah, I agree.
It's an interesting time. Kurt, thanks for talking. I already said that, but thanks again.
You're welcome
And
again.
thanks everybody for listening. As I've been saying, we have a great deal of gratitude for everybody who listens. We have the wisest, sharpest, sanest audience in the hockey world. We're David and Kurt. You are the cult of hockey. And in the meantime, and in between time, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.